Well, today's the day, folks. I'm sure many of you are aware that there is a new Smurfs movie in theaters right now. And I'm sure many of you are even more aware of the infamous trailers that have been released to promote the movie. I sure was, and I, like many others, were not a fan of these trailers. It made the movie look really, really bad. But being the generous moviegoer that I am, I still wanted to give it a chance. The fact that this was from the same studio who released the first trailers for Transformers 1 gave me a bit of optimism, and I cannot put any more emphasis on a bit, that the trailers were doing this movie an injustice. But no, that's not what happened here. What I got was exactly what I expected from the trailers. A very, very bad Smurfs movie. Believe it or not, though, there was a couple of things, and I cannot emphasize couple of things that I liked about the film. At the beginning of the film and at the very end of the movie, there are two legitimately good jokes. One that plays into like the stereotypes of the personalities of the Smurfs. I thought that was very funny. And one at the very end involving sound effects Smurf. I thought that was really, really funny. Two standout jokes in the movie, and there's actually one very good sequence where they utilize different mediums and styles of animation, and I thought that was a really fun, cool, interesting sequence, and I thought that was definitely the highlight of the movie. But yeah, that's it. That's everything I liked about it. Now on to the bad stuff. What is there to say about the story, ladies and gentlemen? It's basically a rehash of all of the other Smurfs movie. They come into the real world and they have to stop Gargamel from kidnapping Papa Smurf. It's basically, they saw how much the live action Smurfs movies made and went, well, those were the only successful ones, so we gotta copy that. But in a strange way, it really serves no purpose, as majority of the movie is focused on the Smurfs. There's no like Neil Patrick Harris. They don't meet any other real people outside of Gargamel and his brother and his assistants, who are also animated, despite the fact that this is in the real world and there's still humans in it. Okay, I'm getting off track, but yeah, there's no real reason for them to go to the real world. This could have just been an animated movie, so the real world nonsense makes no sense. And if it's just gonna rehash the same elements, then what was the point of even making this movie? They even took elements from The Lost Village in regards to Gargamel using Smurfette as his creation to blindside and manipulate her. They even took some lines from the climax of that movie. It's not plagiarism if you steal from yourselves, kids. It was baffling to see, and the film doesn't do a good job of standing out on its own, making itself unique or stand apart from those other films, so that adds to the pointlessness even more so. And the fact that there's so much going on, the movie's always on the move. It's go, 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 go. And I appreciate that the movie was always moving so fast, and it was a really short movie, but it never gave us time to breathe or get to know anything or digest what was really going on, because it was always on the move at such a brisk pace. Again, you never catch a moment to really just settle in or take in certain moments. And there's also way too many characters in this movie. Every like couple minutes they're picking up new Smurfs or meeting up new villains or those snooter poots or whatever those things are called, and they're just rounding up to add to the cast. But all they're doing is just adding more weight to the film that it doesn't need, because most of these characters barely have any lines or contribute anything to the story. They're here for like a gag and a joke and a couple one-liners, and that's it. They don't contribute anything. So again, what's the point of these characters being on this adventure? And because of that, we sideline the core Smurf characters that we genuinely want to see. You want to see Papa Smurf? Too bad, he's kidnapped for a majority of the movie. You want to see Gargamel? Nope, you're gonna deal with his brother Rosamel. You want to see Smurfette? Nope, she's not really the main character. We gotta focus on the Smurf voiced by James Corden, which that was just delightful. He gets a song, by the way. That was lovely. But anyway, And these new cast of characters are not funny, they're not interesting, they're either really bland or obnoxious, and again, just don't serve a purpose to the overall story. You question why they're even there. And then there's the comedy. Oh my goodness, is this movie not funny? Outside of the couple of gags I mentioned already that were actually legitimately funny, the movie just does not land in the comedy department. The timing is off, the jokes are juvenile and immature, and everything, all the jokes for a majority fall flat. It does not feel anything like the Smurfs. It feels like they're trying to modernize the Smurfs by trying to put in these self-aware, modern jokes and pop culture references, but it just doesn't feel right with the Smurfs and just comes a bit of off-putting and forced and unnecessary. And lastly, I want to talk about the animation. Well, I get what they're going for, and I don't think it looks atrocious. This is not Norm of the North or anything. I just don't think the type of animation that was designed and the models for the characters were made for this specific movie. Because when they're in Smurf Village, when the characters are in their own stylized environment, because that's what they were animated and modeled to look like, when they're in their own environment, it looks charming, it looks wonderful, and you can see the passion behind it. But they're not in Smurf Village for a majority of the movie. They're in this real world setting, and it just looks really jarring and honestly off-putting. I get that they're going for a cel-shaded, stylized approach to make it more faithful and make them look a bit more in line with the original Peyo Hanna-Barbera designs, but in this real-world setting, it just looks out of place and kind of cheap looking with their really simple designs. It reminded me of the Chip and Dale movie from a while back with the animation here. And again, I think if they just kept it in Smurf Village and kept it in that stylized environment, it wouldn't be as noticeable or off-putting. But because the majority of it is in the real world and they're on this crazy adventure, it just makes it look off-putting and odd and strange for sure. So yeah, I did not like this movie. Unfortunately, this was not another Transformers 1. This is everything I thought the trailers were going to be. It's a very obnoxious, annoying, loud, unfunny animated film. I do not recommend that you go and see this. Even if you're curious, it's not even in a so bad it's good way. It's just a really bad kids movie. Go watch Smurfs The Lost Village. You will get so much more out of that movie than this. I know not a lot of people like that movie, but at least that one they kept it in Smurf Village. It was at least more faithful in that regard, where this just felt pandering and obnoxious. Don't even bother watching this, unfortunately. I do not recommend it. I really didn't like this. So those are my thoughts on Smurfs. What did you all think of it? If you've seen it, did you like it? Did you hate it? Comment down below and let me know. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you like this channel, hit the subscribe button. Follow me on all the social media links at the end of the video. And until next time, everyone, stay sharp. Hey, boy.